whatever comes, we can face it if we do it together.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And you guys, if you rock with me every Monday, I appreciate you. And if you're new, come in, subscribe, find out what Message Reveal is all about. So, you guys, every Monday I have a special guest, and this person is really, really special because she does something of what I do. So, I can't wait to tell you about her. One, I want to get it right. She's a community engagement manager for the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
Number two, she's a podcaster. And last but not least, she's the owner of Food for the Soul Media Group, and we'll find out more about that. You guys, please put your hands together and welcome my beautiful special guest. Her name is Talitha Cumi.
Hey, everybody.
Did I get your name right, sis?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, yes. How are you? Yes. You're making me feel good. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Just really, really busy. Really busy.
Yes. Yeah. And as I gave the 3 points, were they correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So if you would be so kind and just tell my audience a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Talitha Cumi, and I am the community engagement manager for the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada. So that's my day job. And basically, I am out in the community making sure that people know about Girl Scouts. They know what we do, the services we offer. We're not just cookies, even though you only usually see us during cookie season, but we do so much more than that. And then I really wanted to make sure that we are putting ourselves in communities that may not have an opportunity to be a part of Girl Scouts, and let them know that Girl Scouts is available for them as well. So that's what I do during the day. And then on the side, or what I've been doing for the past almost 10 years now, I guess. About 9 years. I am a podcaster. So I have my own podcast, the IAM Talitha Cumi Show. We air on Thursdays, 8 o'clock p.m. on YouTube and Facebook.
Yay! Yeah. It's so refreshing to have this is my first time actually. No, I take it back. I did interview a podcaster before, but it's refreshing to interview another podcaster and be able to gain your perspective and how you see things.
Yeah.
So, did you have more you want to say? Because I don't want to cut you off.
Nope.
Okay. So, I don't know if you know, but music has turned me all the way out in a great way. Okay. So I say all that to say, can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided lessons? But before you answer this, there's some rules to this. Okay, sis?
Okay.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. I see you just put your head down. If you can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint. Yes.
Okay.
But if you cannot do either one, I need you to say it bold. It needs to be filled with passion. You know how you say in the streets, stand 10 toes down? Yeah. That's what I need to, know about it, feel it. So I'll go back to my original question. Can you identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or provided lessons?
Okay. I cannot. I used to sing in a group, but I'm not a lead type of singer. I'm more of a harmony style type singer. But the song that I am thinking of is, let me see if I can get it right. I am changing, learning every way I can. I don't know the words to the song, but I remember the words only because Dreamgirls is one of my favorite musicals. And in when Jennifer Holliday sang that song, man, I felt that song all the way in my soul because I feel like um as the play depicted her character, she needed to change. She was very arrogant, kind of full of herself, felt
Mm-hmm.
like she deserved everything or whatever, even though I know that in the play she kind of, her character was hurt by another character. But I felt that just because during that time when I remember watching that play, that was a time of transition for me. And
Mm.
so it really it was a lesson. I think it was a lesson song for me to really kind of work on myself and be better than I had been before. So that's the first song that came to my mind. I love that song.
I love that. I'm hearing self accountability
Yes.
in that. And not only that, let's just jump in when I mentioned that you're owner of Soul Food for the Soul Media.
Hmm.
You're also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you've written over 20 plays. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So this is a passion of yours, correct?
Hmm.
So, if I may ask, what was the impetus? What was your first one to say, I'm going to write a play, and then from there you just continue? Where did the love come from?
Well, I remember my I want to say it might have been my grandmother taking me to see Mama I Want to Sing, which was
Mm,
a play, and it dates me because it was a play a very long time ago when I was living in Cali. And I remember saying that I wanted to do something like that. And then also my mother had me watch For Color Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough by Intozaki Shange. And I fell in love with theater then. So I want to say I may have been around 10 or 11, I think, somewhere around that. I was really young, but I used to write when I was younger. So I used to write stories and stuff like that. Me and my brother would do talent shows and all kind of crazy stuff. And when I got in college, I think it was college. Yeah, I was in drama class, and then I used to dance, like hip hop dance. And so I was dancing for
really?
this rap group. Yeah, I was dancing for this rap group, and they wanted to do something different with their rap because they had got chosen to tour high schools with their music. And so I told them I could write. And so we wrote like a little skit to go along with one of their songs called Speaking to the People. And that is where my first production was born. And that was 1989, 90, 91, somewhere around there. It was called Speaking to the
Wow.
People.
And from there, it just fueled your love for.
Yep. Yep. Been in love with it ever since.
Now, I know it's hard to identify this, but
Yeah.
can you tell me one that is so passion filled that really tugged on your heart? I'm pretty sure all of them because it comes from you. But
Mm.
can you identify a name of the play that you really, really said, oh, this is what tugs at my heart and why?
Well, right now I'm currently actually working on a production, my first production out here in Las Vegas. And it's called For Women Who, and it's in the style of For Colored Girls. And so I'm doing that. And so I could say that that would be my favorite because I've done that before, but I think my favorite would actually be a play that I wrote in 2017, I believe, and it's called Nine Lives. And the play is actually loosely based on some of the things that happened to me in my life. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to show um, women that when we make decisions, we have to be very careful when we make decisions, especially in our romantic lives because they have an effect on our lives in the future, you know? And
Yes.
so what I did was I decided to write about the 17-year-old me all the way to the 40-year-old me. And then I added a 50 and a 60-year-old me. And I just kind of wrote the play based on each place I was in that time period. And so
Mm,
it really kind of talked about, my sexual experience when I, lost my virginity. It talked about when I when I was in a relationship, thought I was going to get married. I'm living with this guy, and he, didn't decide to marry me.
mm.
Um, and so it just kind of talked about different things like that we as women kind of go through, and we just have to make, better decisions. So I was hoping that it would just help some women, learn how to make better decisions.
No, I think that's always necessary. I have what is called an invisible pew up here, and
Hmm.
you're talking to someone that has made a decision on one aspect instead of looking at it as a 360 view. Like, you know what? This one person or this one behavior may affect me for the rest of my life or
Yeah,
my family for the rest of my life. So
yeah,
I think anytime you have the opportunity to bring a mirror to our face,
yeah.
why not?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It just it gives you the opportunity to look at yourself to make better decisions if you're in the accountability mode.
Yes, it does. And I actually touched on soul ties because I had never heard of soul ties until I want to say maybe my second marriage when I was somebody was talking about Juanita Bynum. I don't know if you've heard of her before.
Yes.
So she was talking about no more sheets or something like that. And she
Mm-hmm.
soul ties. I'm like, what the heck is a soul tie? I didn't even know what that was.
Wow.
So once I found out what that was, I had to look back on my life and assess all of the situations I had been in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm tied to a lot of people and I need to shed this weight
Yes.
so that I can be prepared for my person, and I was holding on to some of that stuff and I needed to let it
Yes.
go.
I'm glad you spoke about that because we think everything, well, I let me correct myself. A lot of us think that anything we do is only physical and it is a duality to everything,
Hmm.
meaning it's a spiritual and it's a physical. So when we cut it off physical, we forget it's still some spiritual residue that's left that we
Yes.
have to go behind the scene and release and remove.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm glad that you shared that part, but we're going to have to go back to music for just a moment.
Okay.
Can you identify a song that you sung as a child or adult? I mean, you was getting it. You're like, yes, oh yes. And then one day you realized you was like, wait a minute, is that, wait, I've been singing that song and that's what it's all about? Can you identify a song?
You know what? One time, I was my dad was a pastor, and we were gonna do a 60th birthday party for my mom. And so my dad is a music head, music lover, and that's why I love music. And so he's a singer too. And so we were trying to figure out what we can do to make it kind of fun. And so we were going to do live performances, lip syncing performances of people for my mom and kind of surprise her or whatever. So we're trying to pick songs, whatever. So I'm like, okay, let me try and pick a song that I really like that I know I can do and get down. And so I was going through my music catalog and I picked Evelyn Champagne King's song, Baby You Make My Love Come Down.
Okay.
I'm like, I used to just jam like, Baby You Make My Love Come Down. And I'm just jamming that song. And my dad was like, do you know what that means? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, you make my love, baby, you make my love come down. He's like, Talitha, that's talking about having an orgasm.
Huh.
I, I say, what? What, daddy? He said, that's talking about having an orgasm. I did not learn that until I'm telling you, I'm good like 30 something years old. I'm singing that song in the 80s, just jamming that song, not knowing that it's talking about an orgasm. And then I'm trying to play this for the church folk at my mom's party.
You
So
know,
daddy said, he said, no, 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 we can't do
no,
that.
we're not gonna do that one. You know, it's so funny repeatedly that question I ask, and repeatedly, even with myself, when we're a child or even as an adult, we just kind of pick up on the tone, the cadence, and it sounds good and we rock with it.
Yep.
But the moment we realize, we like, wait a minute, and life experience will also identify once you realize you're like, wait, love come down. Okay. But think how fun it is. Think of how many children have sung that not even knowing.
Mm-mm. And Shaka Khan's Sweet Thing.
Okay.
I didn't know it was a cheating song.
Oh, wait a minute. I
I
didn't
didn't
know either. So
yeah.
explain.
So it's I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. Think you are the one for me. Here is where you ought to be. Yep. So
What?
I'm like, what? I didn't realize that that was a cheating song. I didn't realize she was the other woman.
Well, you know, I just realized maybe a year ago when the Houston song, Saving
Saving all
All
my
My
love.
Love
Yep.
for You. Like she's telling him, like, you know, I know you have a family at home, but
Yes.
I'm hooked on you. I love you. And I was like, oh my God. And I sung that a gazillion times and not even know. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
so I do think that we all can get that. I don't want to say caught up, just really enjoy it. And then we realize, like, wait 1 minute.
Minute. Yes. And it takes somebody like your daddy to say, no, 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 no,
Yes.
we're not singing that song. I'm like, okay, daddy.
But you know what? Because you said he was a lover of music,
Mm-hmm.
if he had not been, maybe he would not have been aware of that. Because, you
He
know,
wouldn't.
so I wouldn't have. I would have been
Yeah.
like, hey, you make my love.
Come down.
Yes.
Yeah.
With no problems at
Uh-huh.
all. So let me just talk about something that I saw that you being not only writing your plays, you're also a director as well. Can
Mhm.
you tell me the two different sides of that and which one you like the most? Is it the writing or is it directing, or both of them have their place with you?
I because I've been writing for a long time, I think that the most fun for me is the directing. I like the writing, but the directing, it puts everything into place. And so when I'm able to direct characters that are interpreting something that I've written, it is the most amazing feeling you can ever have because
Wow.
when you're writing in your mind, sometimes you write for a certain character or you write for a certain person that you think can deliver this. So when you're in the director mode and you see these characters come to life from you being able to just give an actor, a direction, it's the most awesome feeling that to me that one could ever have because it really it says a lot about your directing ability. And then it says a lot about the actor being able to interpret exactly what you were thinking that person
Mm.
should say or that character should say. So I think that I like both of them, but the directing kind of just it moves me different.
And which one have you been doing longer?
Writing. So I've
Okay.
been writing longer, but I used to always write and direct my own plays. And so here recently, there's been a couple of plays because when I told you I'm doing the For Women Who, I did that back in 2006, I think was the first time I did it. And it was an adaptation to the For Color Girls because I told me and my mom were like, okay, I'm going to do this play when I get older. And so
Wow.
I was the director of a drama director at my dad's church, and so I decided to kind of do that. And that was the first time I actually let someone else direct because I wanted to be in it.
Okay.
So for the last few years, I've let somebody direct some of the things that I've been in so that they can get a full picture of what it looks like with me in it versus me looking at it and then kind of trying to jump into it and trying to do it. And so yeah, so I think that I've been writing way longer, way longer.
Do you think writing and producing is also therapeutic for you? Because you did mention that it was parts of your life that you put into the play.
Mhm.
Does that work as a counseling session for you to get what's in out?
What has been awesome for me is the fact that I've been told in some of the productions that I've been writing, especially about women, that some of the women that I've chosen for the character actually had a backstory similar to what they were acting about, which was
Ooh,
phenomenal to me. I'm like, how the heck does that happen? I'm like, it's
that's
only,
spiritual. That's
yes,
spiritual.
it's only God that that happens because God wanted to help them get through it or wanted to help them heal. And then also, I wrote a play about my mom. My mom passed in 2000 and I don't even remember now. No, I'm sorry. My mom passed in 1995. And
Mm,
so I was trying to figure out a way to honor her memory. And I wanted to write about the experience that we had because she passed away of cancer.
I'm sorry.
And then I kind of wrote about it, put it down, picked
Mm,
it up again. And then finally, I believe we ended up doing it about 3 or 4 years later. So, writing that play, there was one scene in the play that I wrote that had her going to heaven after she
mm,
passed away. And I showed it. So what I did was I showed her at the end of the play, she dies, but I showed her spirit person get out of the bed
mm.
as as my family, the characters were grieving that she had taken her last breath. On the other side, there were these angels and Jesus was waiting for her to meet them. And
Wow.
I was backstage. I wept. I
Really?
wept. I mean, I
Just from watching it?
just from watching it, and it blew my mind that because I when I watched it, I really was like, oh gosh, my mom is okay. That's what I felt, the way the character was
Yes.
rated. And so it was very, very, very healing for me because that was a real rough time because she got diagnosed and then within a year she was gone.
Ooh,
She was gone.
wow.
She was only 44. She was young. Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
Very young.
So yeah, it's
Um,
very therapeutic.
I'm glad you said that, but one thing we have on this podcast, anytime anyone pass away, I believe one, you pass away physically, but a spiritual death if you don't say their complete name and celebrate them. So would you say her complete name?
Sandra Maria Bolden.
All right. We give her energy on the other side. That's a blessing. Have you ever, and this is just a random question, have you ever thought about doing workshops for young creatives that want to tap in doing plays or anything like that?
I tried it. I didn't get a whole lot of response, but that was back when we were living in Dallas. I haven't done anything out here yet, so that's a possibility. I mean, because I love the arts and I feel like the arts can change the world.
Absolutely.
I really do because a lot of times it just brings awareness, it brings healing, it brings you seeing something in a different light. There's so many people who haven't seen anything. So when you're watching a production or a movie or a TV show or something that you've never experienced, it just gives you a better picture of the
Yes.
world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I can't remember the name of the movie and I can't, godly. It was a movie that, and I can't remember her name. That, man, I'm bad. I'll think of it before the podcast though, but it's an actress that I absolutely love, and she did a movie that I took Bobby to go see, and he was like, I don't want to go see this. It's sad. It's whatever. But when we went to go see it, it just really put things into perspective. They had so much history in it that I never knew.
Wow.
Never knew. And I'm gonna think of her name. But yeah,
Well, whenever you think of her name, just pop in.
yeah.
But in the meantime, Can you identify a song that or an artist
Okay.
that you had the opportunity to purchase all on your own, meaning nobody told you? You're like, oh, I have Christmas money, or I've done some cleaning, or whatever the case may be. You're like, ooh, I'm going to purchase this. Like, it's just really resonates with you. Can you identify a song or artist?
I feel like my very first album that I purchased by myself was New Edition's Candy Girl.
Ooh, yes.
New Edition's Candy Girl, and it was the long version. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, just
Well, I didn't know
that
it
was
was a
my jam.
long version.
That was my jam. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So did you dance to it or
I
it just,
did. I purchased it so that I can be in a talent show. So I was in the sixth grade, and they were doing a talent show for the end of the school year. Had my grandma make me a nice yellow jumpsuit. And I was out there lip syncing my heart out to Candy Girl, pop locking, and all the stuff they did in the video.
oh,
I don't
wow.
remember if I won or not, but I know I had a good time. Yeah.
It sounds like you've never been shy then.
No, I haven't been. No.
She said I was pop like and doing
Yes.
all of that. Well,
Yes.
look,
Back
shout
in the day.
out to you, New Edition and
Yes.
Candy Girl.
Yes.
So, one thing as I don't try to do too much, but I try to look at my guests and get a few things and a feel. And one thing has been consistent with you that you empower women. Where does that come from? Because I know some women, they don't feel like that's the space that they're in. And where did you come from? What pulls you to really support women? Not saying you don't support everybody else, but women seems to be your key target.
um, I think that came from my aunts and my mom. My mom being, like I said, my father was a pastor. And so my mom and my dad, I was pretty sheltered as a kid. And
Really?
so I was very naive to the world, naive to dating, naive to everything. I just was like, they were like, hey, don't have sex before you get married. I'm like, okay. And that was all they pretty much, told me. They didn't really tell me anything else. And so because we were so much in church, I didn't feel like I had a space to ask questions or anything like that. And so my aunts really poured into me. So my aunt that was there, my aunt Isla, and then I have another aunt, my aunt Janice. They really poured into me, showing me what a woman looked like,
Mm,
what a woman did. They told me about how to be a good wife. They taught me about how to be a good wife. So they taught me all these things. My aunt would tell me, even right now, she would like sit up and she would poke me in the back. Like, and so I'm like, okay, I'm sitting up. So she would always make me sit up. She would make me, cross my legs. And, she would always shop for me, making sure that I was looking good, do my hair because she's a stylist. And so I feel like that helped to mold me into the woman that I became, even though, of course, I still had lessons to learn.
hmm.
Once I got older, I realized that everybody didn't have that. Like
Yeah,
my friends didn't have that. They didn't have aunties. So
yeah.
they were just kind of having to go at it on their own and figure it out and fall flat on their face. And then a lot of my friends in high school, they started to just kind of make really bad decisions. So, getting pregnant, in high school and different things like that. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I want to be able to help girls like me or women like me, learn how just to make better decisions when we're out here in this dating world. Because it's rough, man. It's rough. And a lot of times, when you're naive, unfortunately, you're getting tricked. So a
Yeah.
lot of women are getting tricked and, bullied and abused and all of these things just because they don't know any better.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that I think that's where my passion comes. My passion comes from that, to be able to be that light or to be that person that maybe helps one woman and she's like, man, I never knew that. Like, or I wasn't close to my mom. or my mom's not here anymore, so she didn't get a chance to show me that.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from, I think.
I think it's a true passion when you have, especially you can have that specific group that you target to say, you know what, I really want to pour into you.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's talk about you being a podcaster. Let's talk about your journey. What was the impetus for you to even begin to be a podcaster? And what's your thoughts for the future?
Well, it was the same thing. Me pouring into women in 2015, I believe.
Wow.
Well, it might have been a little bit before that. There was a lady that was doing a group called Curvy Girls, I think, and it was for plus size women. She was a model, and she kind of wanted to help women on their journey to be models and different things like that. And then we ended up parting ways, and I liked that scene, but I wanted to go further and do more of a, okay, we can be in fashion, we can do all these things, but I want women's lives to be transformed. And so I wanted to start a movement, talked to a friend of mine, and we came up with a name called Fat by Design, which
Mm,
it stood for Fashion, Arts, and Transformations. And so I wanted to build a movement of women who were interested in fashion, interested in the arts like I am, and then interested in transforming their lives, which were all the things that I was passionate about. And so I started that in 2015 as a nonprofit. And I had gone on somebody else's podcast. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should do a podcast to kind of get our name out there, and then talk about, subjects that women talk about. What are we going to do? And
yes.
I started my podcast, and it was called Food for the Soul with the Fat Girls. And so I was just trying to think of a name. And I'm like, you know what? I want to be able to give people food for their soul. So got that name. And then I put with the Fat Girls because that was the acronym of the organization. And so that
Mm-hmm.
was 2015. And since then, I mean, I did that. I moved to a couple of different podcast stations out there in Dallas. And then when we moved here in 2020, I was really trying to keep that, keep that platform. I'm like, okay, I want to do at least one of the things that I was doing in Dallas before. And so I'm like, okay, I want to keep my podcast, bring it out here to Las Vegas, see if I can, make it as special as it was out there. And found a podcast home that is near Fremont Street called Speak Life Studios.
Mm,
And or not Speak Life, it was Gorilla Cross Studios, I'm sorry. And I've been rocking with them since 2021. And they have a
wow.
beautiful studio. So if you see any of my shows on YouTube, the lighting
Mm-hmm.
is gorgeous. His camera work is amazing. It's just a really, really good feel and a good look. And so I did that 2021. I took a break in 2022 because my dad passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now you have to say his name.
His name is Dr. Willie J. Bowden.
All right.
And so he passed in 2021. And so I took a break 2022. I just didn't want to do it. And then I came back in 2023. And right now we're on a hiatus just because, we're moving, we got a whole lot of stuff going on. But I feel like I want to get into um more news.
Mm,
I'm kind of lean in that direction. I love music, so if you've ever seen it, you see I always have
yes.
artists on there. I'm trying to marry what I love, so I have
Yes.
artists on there, and then I'm talking about something that's empowering or different things like that. But I really want to get into news. Like I want to be able to start finding news stories or articles to talk about that we are unaware of.
Mm,
Because as 2020 came and the pandemic happened, I really was awakened to the fact that there's a lot of news that we don't hear.
yes.
Now we
Or
hear yes,
distracted from so you don't hear
yes, yes, and there's a lot of news that that they want you to hear, And then the real news of stuff that's going on that we may need to be aware about, we're not hearing about that news.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that. So I'm not sure
Yes.
what's going to happen next year.
Well, listen, you never know where your heart or where God will lead you, but one thing I must say, I've seen several episodes and I love how you always give someone a chance to really sing. And I thought it was beautiful, whether it's their own original pieces or something that they are doing, what it cover.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think that's a wonderful way to showcase and to share, whoever you come involved with, like, hey, we have really great people here in Las Vegas, and here you go. I'm a native, so I'm
Hmm.
always going to uplift and represent Vegas. But with that being said, we've always had that relationship where people come from other places and really
Yeah.
love Vegas and uplift Vegas.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, how do you like Vegas?
Um, it's growing on me. Initially, I can't say that I was gonna like it. I just didn't know. I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew that it wasn't as cultural as, coming from California and even coming from Dallas. There's a lot of culture out there. And so I didn't feel like it had its own space, probably because so many people come here and they kind of try and throw their culture on whatever it is.
Hmm.
And so I didn't know if I would like it or not, but it's growing on me. But I think it's because of the Girl Scouts, though. The Girl
Yeah,
Scouts in my position has allotted me to be out in the community, whereas a lot of people who may move here might not have that opportunity to do so because they don't know where to go.
yeah,
Being a part of the Girl Scouts, I was able to really find where the black people hanging out, where the artists hanging out, where the singers go, where I was able to find that out, and I was able to go there.
yeah, yeah. I just interviewed her name. She's the CEO of S West Fest.
Oh, really?
She was at she was at the event, the black tie event 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
She what is her last name? Yoka is her last name. She performed.
Jiminy Yoga, yes,
Chimity Yoka,
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
She did, and I just interviewed her. This will be her second year in 2025, where it's called at S West Fest.
Okay.
And basically she's mirroring, and I'm hoping I'm getting it right, her group or her people that she grew up that's talented, that's in the arts, with the younger people, and come in and just really do a fusion of performing and arts. And she did that because something you said, and it's said often, that Vegas doesn't have any culture. And she was like, no. And she kind of talks about, matter of fact, her episode will air today,
Hmm.
but she talks about that. So maybe you and her can
Yeah.
get together and do so. I'm just suggesting. I'm not even in the middle of it. I'm just
No,
saying.
because she was a guest on my show. She was one of the guests on my show. I don't remember what show. I want to say, you know what? It was called What Community, when I was interviewing Minister Stretch Sanders
Mm,
and another lady on there, and she was my guest singer. So she did say that there is a lot of there are a lot of places out here, but they're pockets
it is.
and they're people, but if they don't know about it, then they don't know about it. So she was talking about jam sessions and stuff like that. So yeah, I rock with Jimmy.
Yes,
So I
yes.
would love to, work with her on some projects.
Yes, definitely awesome. Well, if you do you think how long you'll be on a hiatus before
Um,
you
I don't know because I am going to be producing and directing and starring, and I wrote it. But I'm actually Bobby's gonna be helping me direct this time because I'm gonna be in it. I'm working on the production, and it's supposed to be in March. And so probably if I do come back, when I come back, it'll probably be the middle of the year, or maybe like that second quarter. I'll
yes.
be back and in my podcast mode and trying to figure it out. I will have moved by then.
Yes.
And then I'll be able to kind of figure out which direction I want to go, and if I want to go back to the studio, or kind of how I want to do it.
Yes. Well, real fast before we change subject,
Mm-hmm.
just talk about your media group. So you have a couple things under your umbrella. It's not just podcasting, correct?
Right. And so with the media group, I do the podcast, we do the productions, and then also we are starting to do documentaries. And so based on I wrote the play about my mom. And so with my dad, when my dad got sick, I wanted to try and do a documentary. I wanted to try my hand at doing a documentary. And he passed before I could finish it. But
Mm,
I was able to write, direct, and produce, with the help of Bobby, because his camera work is amazing.
wow.
Um, we were able to do a documentary about my dad. And so I'm doing stage, podcasting, and film
Wow.
under that umbrella.
Where can we find a documentary about your dad if we want to check it out? Is it on YouTube?
It is not on YouTube just yet. What I did was I decided to enter it into a few film festivals to see if it would get some play. And then as soon as those are over, I submitted to about like 6 or 7. Soon as they decide whether I was eligible or not, I'm gonna release it next year on YouTube, and then I'm trying to see if I can get it on Tubi.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, I wish you nothing but success for that.
Thank you.
And speaking of documentary, I've had some ideas in that. I'm total a novice in that, but just like anything else, the only way you're gonna learn, you got to get in there and
Do it,
learn
yeah,
it.
yeah, do it. Yep.
So hopefully, something like that in the future.
Mhm.
Before we get out of here, I do have two questions. One, can you please provide any social media handles, any information? So if my audience want to get in contact with you
Yeah.
and want to pick your brain or link up with you, can you provide that?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on Facebook at Food for the Soul Media Group, or I am Talitha Cumi. Also on Instagram, it's the same thing, Food for the Soul Media Group, and I am Talitha. Is it I am Talitha underscore Kume? I don't even remember my
Well,
own.
we'll make sure we
One of
put
those.
that
I
in
am,
the.
and it's spelled Talitha. That name is biblical, comes straight out of the Bible.
All
Um,
right.
and then my email, food for the soul presents at gmail.com. And then our YouTube station is the same, Food for the Soul Media Group.
Awesome. Well, all the things that you mentioned, I'll make sure we have it down in the description box so they can just link up with that.
Mhm.
But my last question for you, my dear, is this. If you had the opportunity to dedicate a song to the world,
Mhm.
what song would you dedicate?
Um, when when Bobby and I met, um, I felt like our lives were a mirror of one another. Like I felt like he was the male me, and I was
Wow.
female him, because we had been kind of through the same things. And so I'm a big Fred Hammond fan.
Me
I love Fred
too.
Hammond. I love Fred Hammond. And he decided to do a love CD compilation. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh my God, you're Christian. You can't do this." I'm like, "What is I'm talking about love? What are you talking about?" And so it was a song that I played for Bobby. And whenever I think about our relationship and all the stuff we went through, I play this song. But I feel like if we, and I'm talking about the world as a whole, if we could find some type of common something
Mm-hmm.
links us all together, whether it's humanity. When COVID came, everybody was kind of, oh, we love each other and we holding
Yes.
it and I don't feel like we need a death disease to get us to come together. And so if we could just come together, that song that I chose, for Bobby that I would choose for the world is Face It All.
Mm.
It's called Face It All by Fred Hammond. And it's just saying that whatever comes, we can face it if we do it together.
Can you give me a little bit? Can you sing a little bit of that song?
Hallema. And I was like, I can. I don't even remember the. I don't remember the.
The lyrics.
No, I don't remember the lyrics or the melody right now. You face it all. I know. I can't. I cannot think of the lyrics.
Well, I tried. That's okay. I tried. I think that's a wonderful way to give to the world. Like, we can face it all. And I do agree with you. It shouldn't have to be anything that tragic or
Yeah.
sad that happened for us to say, we are the world. We
Yes.
are the children. Like, it
Yeah.
should be a common factor that we want to get together so we can uplift the world.
Yes. Absolutely. And I feel like you know, with whatever's coming our way in 2025, you know, we need to get together, especially even in the United States. We need to get together because there's a lot of people, you know, that don't like us over here. They don't like the fact that we still have freedoms that are being taken away from them. And I'm like, so we need to make sure we got it together because, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't.
Well, I say this, I always breathe life into whatever I say, and I say high elevation, and
Yeah.
God will always guide me on my path.
Yep.
And it say move right, I'm gonna move right, move left, I'm gonna move left, and wherever I can help and pour into, I will continue to do that.
Yep. I'm on the same page.
Yes. So I just want to say to you, my dear, thank you so much for being a part of my podcast. I really, really appreciate that. I do, before we leave, I talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow, excuse me. But the destination is where we celebrate. Far too often, we're just working, working, working. And guess what? We forget to celebrate like, girl, oh, we did it. We had a good time. We have to celebrate. If not, we don't appreciate that growth. But when it's all said and done, we got to get back into that journey so we can continue to grow. So with all of that being said, when my men are on, I salute them. When my women are on, I bow to them. So I bow to you, beautiful lady. And before we get out of here, I always give my guests the last word. Any last words go to you?
Enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy your family and your friends because they may not always be around. And Christmas is not all that. It's not all that it's made to be. And so just remember that when you're out and about this holiday season, it's about the family.
Yes.
So you don't have money for gifts, and don't stress.
Yes.
Don't stress about all that stuff. Don't go crazy trying to spend money that you don't have.
Yes.
Just enjoy life.
Yeah.
And enjoy your family and your friends.
Well said, and definitely I agree with you, because so many times they get stressed out and they give their last, and then when it's all done, then now they're without, or they're about to be without. So I agree with you, and I thank you so much for coming on Message Revealed. And you guys, please put your hands together and thank my beautiful fiery red lady friend, Miss Talitha. I say to all my guests, I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Amen. Got it. See you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.